What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about here on a daily basis. We just had two different sets of over $1 billion approved for different sets of Americans, including low income Americans. And I'll go over that here in this video. And we have new checks going out to Americans up to $3,000. We'll go over here in this video here as well. Also, we're going to have the White House talking about the new Inflation Relief Act and if and what the details are about taxing Americans who earn less than $400,000. There's a lot of back and forth on that, especially from Republicans, as saying that it's going to tax people, low income earners. What's the case with that here? We'll get details from that directly from the White House here. So yeah, we'll hear it straight from the horse's mouth here. So yeah, let me know your thoughts here on that. And if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, make sure to click the subscribe button down below, the bell icon, and the like button for us. It's all free and it helps out our channel and makes so you won't miss out on new videos. Here we go. Here is the White House Brian Deese, and he will let us know what's the details with will Americans that make less than $400,000 or even $200,000 or less than $100,000, will they be getting taxed more? Here we go.
This afternoon, President Biden will sign into law a massive health care, tax, and climate bill. They're calling it the Inflation Reduction Act, although there is a considerable debate over just how much it would reduce inflation in the near term. Passed with no Republican votes, it aims to lower prescription drug costs, address global warming, and raise taxes on billion-dollar corporations. So joining us now is Brian Deese, the White House Director of the National Economic Council. Thank you very much, Brian. It's a big day for you all, and I know you're looking forward to the signing ceremony. So what does the legislation mean in the short term? Because some of the drug price controls, as you know, will not be felt until 2026 and only for senior citizens on Medicare because of compromises that had to be made in a 50-50 Senate to get it through. So we're aware of just what a tightrope you were all walking. But where do you think the inflation impact will be?
Well, this bill will have immediate impact for the American people, and it will also take on some of the longer-term economic issues that we have never really fully taken on in this country. In terms of the immediate impact, this fall, there'll be 13 million Americans who will see lower health care premiums as a result of this bill. That means concrete savings for people and also the peace of mind that they'll be able to continue to afford health insurance. Starting at the beginning of next year, we'll begin implementing a $2,000 out-of-pocket cap on prescription drug costs for those people who are in Medicare, which is a huge savings, particularly for people who have chronic conditions like cancer. And as you said, across time, Medicare negotiating for better prescription drug prices will benefit the federal government with lower costs to Medicare, but also people as well. But also immediately, and this is often overlooked, the tax credits, consumer tax credits for energy efficiency and clean energy, many of them are in place as of enactment when the president signs this bill. So that means that a family who's thinking, who needs to upgrade their heating system or their air conditioning or their appliances, those are costs that everybody has to do. This bill will give people a tax credit that will make those cheaper. And also to put in energy efficient appliances or energy efficient heating, that means they'll pay less on their utility bills going forward as well. Those are benefits that people are going to start to see immediately.
Now, so why does the Congressional Budget Office, which is bipartisan, estimate that the proposal is only going to change the inflation rate by less than 0.1% over the next 2 years in either direction?
Well, look, you've seen a lot of economists, a lot of experts, former Treasury secretaries of both political parties, and economists, including those who have been critical of us in the past, say that this is the most meaningful step that Congress and the president can take to try to reduce price pressures in the economy. And the principal driver behind that is that it's reducing the deficit. So it's complementary to what the Federal Reserve is trying to do, at the same time that it's actually providing those direct savings to consumers. And so, look, there are different models that show different magnitudes of impact. But one place I would say that I think most models underestimate is on the energy side. This bill will increase supply of energy, more affordable energy in the United States. And the the easing of price pressures that will happen in the economy when we have more secure supply, more reliable supply, and lower cost supply of energy, that filters through not only to household balance sheets, but for companies and investment, our industrial production in the United States. So this bill is doing the sensible long-term reforms that we need, like on energy and prescription drugs, but in a way that moves us in the right direction on inflation in the short term as well.
And as you point out, one of the biggest achievements is on climate change. It's expected to reduce carbon emissions by 40% by 2030. So that is a big achievement considering where we were. So tell us about the incentives, though, to get people to switch to electric vehicles. How quickly do you think that can be accomplished?
Sure. So with the passage of this bill, when the president signs it into law today, the United States will, for the first time ever, be able to say that we can confidently meet our climate goals through 2030 and beyond. And we can do it in a way that increases energy security with more secure, reliable supply here at home. That's a big deal. It's a big deal for the country and for American families, but it's also a big deal for the world and our ability to lead on this critical issue internationally as well. And the way that we do that is to provide long-term technology-neutral incentives to make sure that we're generating more clean energy, but also the innovations behind that clean energy here in America. And that's where the electric vehicles issue comes in place. This bill provides incentives for electric vehicles, but importantly for the production, the manufacturing, and the manufacturing of those batteries that go into those vehicles happening here in the United States and with secure supply chains where we're not reliant on countries that don't share our values across time. That's going to set a high bar for American companies, but our goal is to set a high bar and to say, if you want those tax credits, you need to work to try to build more secure supply chains, and that's something that we're going to work closely with the industry on in the coming years.
Now, a big part of the taxes that were originally in the bill were compromised out because of Senator Sinema. The legislation doesn't have everything that was originally proposed. Senator Sinema was able to remove the carried interest tax provision, and then in the final day of the vote, a controversial tax break that benefits private equity managers, as well as the requirement that private equity partners pay the 15% corporate, not pay the, rather the 15% corporate income tax. So do you think the U.S. is ever going to be able to beat back those lobbyists and campaign contributors who clearly, got to the Arizona senator at a key moment, and she had all the leverage?
I think the answer to that is yes. Look, you see in this bill that areas where for years people have said that special interests in Washington would always win and that there would never be any progress. You see historic progress in this context. Prescription drug negotiation for the first time ever. Climate legislation at a scale of ambition that we've never done before while investing in energy security. All of these are areas where we have been told in Washington consistently that the special interests would always win out. Is this bill perfect? No. We have more work to do. Certainly carried interest is something that the president is committed to fixing and solving and will stay at it. But on the tax side, what is in this bill is quite significant. We will, for the first time, have a corporate minimum tax that makes sure that companies have to pay 15% of their income and the income that they report to Wall Street investors in tax. And so that the days when companies can say that they've made large profits but then end up paying nothing in tax because of complicated accounting rules, those are going to be over as a result of this 15% minimum tax. That's a big step forward, and we're going to make a historic investment in the IRS to make sure that the wealthiest Americans that use complicated accounting and lawyering techniques to avoid paying taxes, that we're going to crack down on that as well. And I want to add, we're doing all of that, notwithstanding some of the misinformation that's out there. We're doing all of that without raising taxes at all on anybody making less than $400,000 a year. As you know, that was a commitment that the president made, and he's making good on that commitment with this legislation.
Yeah, there's been a lot of misinformation about that. Thanks for clearing it up. And thanks for making sense of all of this, Brian Deese.
So a lot of things there. White House economic advisor Brian Deese says no taxes will be raised on Americans making under $400,000. Let me know your thoughts on that. Do you believe it? A lot of rhetoric from Republicans there saying, well, they're not so sure. The other big thing here is the IRS. The IRS hiring up to 87,000 agents. Between me and you, I don't even know if they're going to be able to hire anywhere close to that amount with people with that much qualifications. And for the salary that the IRS wants to pay. But on one hand, the IRS, I did a video on this previously. If you watched it, it was a really good video. I got a lot of good comments on that from both sides. From both sides, a lot of people from both sides of the political spectrum. I have a lot of people from the middle with the open mind, and then I got a lot of people that are full Democrats and a lot of people that are full Republicans. And hey, I love my friends on both sides of the aisle, but a lot of people with different political mindsets. And some Republicans say the IRS agents are going to tax, or I'm sorry, going to audit a lot of the low and middle income. That's kind of what a lot of Republicans are saying, that they're going to audit a lot of people right now. And then a lot of people are saying, we really need IRS agents right now, which is crazy to ever think that. If we would have went back a few years ago and say this, and I actually fully agree with this, because if we push that point aside, uh, hopefully nobody here gets audited. But if you get audited, God bless you. Keep the may the force be with you. But if you get audited, yeah, hope God bless you. But if you don't get audited, we really need IRS agents for a couple reasons. One, your tax refunds. I have seen so many people that need the tax refunds. I've seen a lot of people. I've probably seen hundreds, if not thousands, of comments throughout the videos of people that saying they're waiting on their tax refunds. They're waiting on their unemployment tax refunds for over a year. Over a year. My mother waited on her tax refund for, I think, over 6 months. So some people, they get them quickly, but for some reason, a lot of people are just the IRS is just really far behind. Really far behind. I've seen a lot of people saying they're waiting on their 2020 tax refunds. It's just like, wow. And if you have to call the IRS, again, God bless you, because I have seen hundreds, if not thousands, of comments of people who've said they waited on hold for hours. And I've seen a lot of people say that they've called the IRS and physically could not get through. It's really tough out there. So, on a lot of hands, I hate to say this, but we do need IRS agents, at least for customer support. At least for customer support, because there's not enough help there. If you need to call them, good luck, because it's a coin flip, or less than a coin flip, if you're going to be able to talk to somebody. And if you're going to, when you do your taxes, if you're going to actually get your refund back. It's really sad. So in most cases, people don't get audited. I don't know what the audit rate is, but it's got to be like, I don't know, 1% of people or something that get audited. 2%, I don't know what the audit rate is. Who knows? I don't know if that's public information or something like that. But if you have to call the IRS, if you tax refunds, the majority of Americans get tax refunds. Good luck. Good luck. And, child tax credits and stuff like that, all of that. Next up, we have a couple different things here of money going out to people in need. Number one, Governor Brian Kemp will hand out $1.2 billion in cash to poorer Georgians. This just came out here, I think, yesterday or so. So honestly, I love to see articles like this. I love to see, more and more of this is coming out here, state by state here. It feels like every week I'm seeing more and more states do this here. I love to see this. $1.2 billion in cash here. Here's the details on this. Governor Brian Kemp just announced he will spend up to $1.2 billion in federal pandemic aid on payments of up to $350 apiece to more than 3 million Georgians. Isn't that awesome? Who benefit from Medicaid, subsidized health insurance, food stamps, or cash welfare assistance. The payments will start in September, which is next month, said Katie Bird, a spokesperson for the government's office. The move comes atop Kemp's proposal last week to spend $2 billion on additional stimulus checks in the state surplus. I went over that in the last video or two. You can check that out. Split between property tax rebate and a second round of income tax rebates if voters choose him for a second term in November over Democratic challenger Stacey Abrams. So he's a Republican, I believe. Again, I could care less whether somebody's a Republican or Democrat. Um, Democratic challenger Stacey Abrams, I believe in the previous video, they both have kind of competing terms to send out money. If you're from Georgia, you can let me know in the comments who you like better. The separate plans would require legislative approval next year for this next round, but this $1.2 billion has been just announced for. This is from the pandemic stimulus money from the last package. The payments will start in September, and this announcement will put money in the hands of less affluent Georgians in the months before the elections in a narrowly contested swing state. Those are voters who Abrams has been tailoring her economic platform. So that's the other candidate. She also backs another round of income tax rebates like Kemp already pushed through, but has been arguing that Georgia also needs to invest more in long-term expansions of health, education, and assistance. The governor said that his reasoning for handing out cash was to help people pressured by higher prices, inflation, and etc. The assistance will help some of Georgia's most vulnerable citizens cope with the continued economic impact of the pandemic and 40-year high inflation. And of course, he blames it on Biden, but realistically, we know inflation's going on everywhere across the world. But I mean, again, you may have a different opinion on that, but I think we've kind of proven that here on the channel. Abrams has repeatedly accused Kemp of hypocrisy for taking credit for federally financed benefits. I think the stimulus money that he's sending out now, while bad-mouthing Biden at the same time. They said in a statement, called the move another of Kemp's election year vote buying schemes. And neither here nor there, we're helping people, right? They said that Brian Kemp refuses to expand Medicaid, has cut food assistance amid rising prices, and failed to fully deploy federal rent assistance, leaving too many Georgians evicted. Now, in the middle of a re-election campaign, he's taking money to stage more political gimmick. His PR stunt is too little too late. You can let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. But they said that on the website that beneficiaries will get the payments automatically, but urge people to update their contact information on the state website that manages health and welfare benefits. People who get food stamps and cash welfare benefits will not get the money on the same debit card they get those benefits, but did not immediately respond to questions about how the money will get sent out. So I'll keep you updated. Next up, okay, I got this comment here from Margarita Ortiz. Margarita Ortiz. I think I'm saying that right. By the way, that is an absolutely amazing first name here. I wish my first name was Margarita. Wow, have a margarita on me. As long as I'm not saying that wrong. If I am, my apologies. But she says here, Jimmy in the comment section wanted to let you know that Governor Kathy Hochul in New York State approved the healthcare worker bonus. Hospitals have until August 30th to submit worker info to receive a $1,500 bonus. This bonus can be received up to 2 times for $3,000. I'll give you the details here in a second. In any 2 vesting periods. There are stipulations to this bonus, but anyone in New York State should contact their HR department. Thank you, Margarita, for this. This is the type of comments that I absolutely love to see and are super helpful because I'm able to share this with our community and with tens of thousands of viewers and can potentially, I can share this with, and you can share this, we can share this as a community and potentially tell people about bonuses, checks, whatever you want to call them, and people can get them who might not have known about them. Because I just did a video about a $15,000 check that somebody got through homeowners assistance and rent assistance. And I know for a fact I've helped thousands of people get that in the past. And I've had literally hundreds or maybe thousands of comments of people saying thanks because I didn't know about how to get that. Here's the details on this. Yeah, so as you can see here, right from the New York State.gov website, New York State Healthcare and Mental Hygiene Worker Bonus Program. Yeah, let me zoom this in here. New York's essential frontline worker healthcare and mental hygiene workers have seen us through a once-in-a-century public healthcare crisis and turned our state into a model for battling and beating the pandemic. To attract talented people into the profession at a time of such significant strain, while also retaining those who have been working so tirelessly these past 2 years. By the way, thank you so much. If you have been a healthcare worker or a similar frontline worker or anything of that capacity, thank you so much, including truck drivers, anything of those of any similar capacity. Thank you so much for helping during this pandemic. Doctors, nurses, teachers, anything of that kind. Thank you so much. We must recognize the efforts our healthcare and mental hygiene workforces and reward them financially for their service. To do so, as a part of the fiscal 2023 year, New York State executive budget legislation, $1.2 billion in funding has been allocated for the payment of bonuses for certain frontline healthcare workers. We've seen other states do this as well, and hopefully we'll see more here going forward. And it says here that this can be up to a total of $3,000 per covered worker. And the official New York State press release can be found at the following link. If you're from New York and you think this might cover you or any friends or family that you know, please share this video with them so they can get the details on this, see this, and there's a share button down below. Make sure that they subscribe to the channel here. I'll keep you up to date here with all the states going forward. And yeah, qualified employees, including certain providers with at least one employee, and that bill for services under Medicaid state plan or a home or community-based service waiver. Providers that have a provider agreement to bill for Medicaid services provided or arranged through a managed care organization or a managed long-term care provider in certain educational institutions or other funded programs. These include a whole host of certain programs funded by the Office of Mental Health. You can pause this here if you need to. All these different government agencies. Submission details for qualified employers will differ based on if they are Medicaid or non-Medicaid employers. Medicaid employers must currently be enrolled and payable through eMedNY and must be able to submit on the HYB program portal. As she said previously, see your HR department. If you qualify through this, you can go to the website, which is nysworkerbonus.com. Providers who are not currently, that's NYS, New York State, nysworkerbonus.com. Providers who are not currently enrolled with eMedNY should visit the eMedNY website, which is emedny.org, emedny.org, to learn more about how to enroll. Yeah, so I'll keep you up to date here on all these different type of bonus checks, hazard pay checks, stimulus checks, tax rebate checks, property tax owner checks, renter checks. Really on a weekly basis, we have more and more of these coming out here, and it seems like more and more states, maybe federal checks, child tax credit checks are coming out here. Potentially have more information coming out here for you maybe in the next video or so. I got new information on that. Student loan forgiveness, I just did a video on that. I'll link you to that here in a second. Really, it's just almost on a weekly basis, more and more and more coming out here. So make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel. Just click the subscribe button down below and the bell icon so you get notifications when we go live with new videos. It's completely free to do so, and you don't want to miss out on new videos. You can also share this video down below with your friends and family so that they don't miss out on new videos here as well. Here is the new video about student loan forgiveness coming out here. There's been billions of dollars already approved, so you might not want to miss out on that. Share that video with your friends and family as well. And here is a new video about $15,000 that some of our viewers are getting here as well. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.